Joey P, man, with stats in hand, spilling numbers like grains of sand. Fantasy talking about diamond dreams, chasing players, whispering their schemes. Oh, Welsh, breaking it down real slow, voices howling in the radio's glow. Talking monsters on the baseball field, wizards swinging bats and magic shields. Fantasy baseball in the night, podcasters giving us that sight. Question marks and stars collide, dreams of glory never hide.
Welcome in everybody to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live. It is me, Joey P. Joe P. Zapia. With me, of course, is the Welsh, and it's all of you, the Peanuts, the Cracker Jacks, here on our Twitch live, twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's the place to watch us Monday through Friday, noon Eastern. Of course, you can watch us when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fantasy Pros MLB, where you can watch us on demand every day. We got lots of videos. I just did 2 short videos dropping about players who are going to be traded next. That's really fun. Waiver wire stuff's out there for guys that fell through the cracks. And Welsh, you know, Saturday night, I thought, oh, we're going to lead the show with Spencer Strider. And then Sunday afternoon, I thought, oh, we're going to lead the show with Shohei Ohtani making his starting pitching debut for the Dodgers. No. We got a monstrous move in the Major League Baseball landscape, and we're going to talk about it here. Rafael Devers getting traded to the San Francisco Giants for Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, and some prospects, and they're taking on all $300 million. It came out of nowhere. Rafael Devers homered on Sunday in a sweep of the Yankees. The Red Sox finally feeling good about themselves, and this one just caught everybody by surprise. It doesn't feel like there was a lot of shopping. Feels like somebody reached out to somebody. They had some background conversations. The next thing you know, Rafael Devers is on his way out. And Welsh, I got to say, I think it makes a lot of sense for everybody. I think it makes a ton of sense for the Red Sox. They are getting rid of $300 million and a malcontented player who's not happy right now. You're freeing up money to go after Kyle Tucker. You have Bregman in tow, who's probably going to opt out. If he does, you re-sign him. You have Cora there as the manager. You bring in Tucker. Maybe you go make a run at Pete Alonso, and you could spend some money that way, but you let all the kids play now. The pathway's clear for the kids. You got some pitching help, theoretically. Kyle Harrison's a nice young pitching prospect. But you also got rid of all that contract. And for the San Francisco Giants, Welsh, you're able to get a bat you desperately needed. He is not going to play third base because when Chapman's healthy, he's one of the best defenders at the position. Eldridge is coming soon. He's probably not going to play first base. He's going to be a DH in San Francisco, Welsh. What did you think of this news? Drop it on Father's Day evening. Unbelievable moment here, Major League Baseball here on a Monday.
Yeah, so I think it only makes sense because Rafael Devers became a huge crybaby. That's the only reason it makes sense, because at the end of the day, you pay $300 million for fantastic players, and Devers on the field no longer was a good defender, but he's still a top, 10, 15 bat in baseball. I think he's third in RBI, hits homers. Like, he's a catalyst at the middle of your lineup. So the only reason it makes sense is because he became a huge problem and continued to be a problem. We found out lots of stuff, like he was just openly criticizing Breslow, but also management. There was something with like John Henry and ownership that he wasn't returning calls, and they were just done with it. They were completely over him and done with it. So then if you move to the trade, the only reason it can make some sense is because the Giants took on all the money. That's what I tweeted out. I was like, if the Red Sox are not getting Eldridge, or the Giants are taking on every dollar, this is the dumbest thing on the planet. Still kind of dumb. You're throwing out theoreticals of like, well, now they can maybe go and try to sign and be competitive with this guy. Yeah, maybe, but they had a bat that was phenomenal there, but they were put in a position that they had to do this. The trade sucks. Kyle Harrison is fine. They just immediately optioned him. James Tibbs is okay.
He'll be back, though. I think the option is just a matter of like getting everybody set in the right rotation time.
Yeah, they got Giolito in their rotation. Kyle Harrison will be up. And
Kyle Harrison going to stash Kyle Harrison right now. Long story short, because he is going to be up sooner than later for this rotation. But I think the Red Sox looked at it and said, okay, maybe we compete this year, maybe we're not. Regardless, we don't like the situation. This is not where we want to be as an organization. And
with Rafael Devers,
this
is Devers specific here. Everything else be damned.
Yeah, 100%. Wonky said the lesson, as always, is just to whine real hard to get what you want. That's what I've been doing for years. It's worked for me, so why shouldn't it work for Rafael Devers?
I am still surprised. I mean, at the end of the day, this was just, we are done with Devers. It doesn't matter anything else. There is a rumor, or at least conversation, that there were other teams that they had talked to. It was the Padres were one. Man, there were two other teams. I'm kind of forgetting who it was, but I remember the Padres being on there because my first reaction to this was AJ Preller had to be pissed. AJ Preller wants to be at the forefront of every single ridiculous trade that's out there. That he had
Hasn't he spent enough bad money on Red Sox guys and Bogarts already?
Yeah, he wants to spend more. But I think the key was, as it was noted, no one else was competitive enough. And here's what competitive means: taking on all the money. It's all.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Red Sox wanted Aldridge or would have wanted Leo DeVries. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I'm just saying, like, I think what this move might have just simply been about is, let's completely wash. And how do you wash your hands? No money's involved. Get a couple that you hope it would work, and then you go and sign some pieces, kind of like you're alluding to at the end of the day, that might make people forget about it. There's also a really, really tasty rumor out there that this might be involved around John Henry's ownership of a soccer team, and they had just given like $100+ million to some player. I don't know anything about soccer, but the conspiracy theory is that he, might have made this trade in lieu as well to cover some of the expenses of $120 or $150 million.
Well, they had to sign Badiaga or Badiaga 2, or what was that old Simpsons reference? Another old Simpsons reference. Here we go. I don't know. I don't buy that. I think the other thing is probably more true. When ownership reaches out to you and you leave them unread.
Oh no, that's the reason. I just like conspiracy theories to it. I like conspiracy theories to it.
I think that's a little goofy.
But at the end, I don't like it. I think I understand the making sense of it. It does kind of make sense. They freed the money. They did that stuff. They got a couple pieces back. Maybe this is a 2 or 3 year plan. But at the end of the day, all of that aside, I just don't like it. I think it's stupid to get rid of a player at that level. So no bueno.
Jose Bello or Bello, I'm not exactly sure how he pronounced it. 20-year-old right-hander. He's got a 2 ERA, a 7.2 WHIP, 28 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 18 innings so far. He's in the lowest level of the minors. I don't know much about Tibbs either, the other prospect they got, but it's not a big prospect haul. As Welsh was saying, this is about money more than anything.
I mean,
Harrison's going to be a nice ready now pitcher, 23 years old. That's a good look. You get a good young left-handed starting pitcher. That's a nice thing to have if you're the Boston Red Sox. Like, let's not pretend like it's
spent a lot for Garrett Crochet. They gave up a whole bunch. Excuse me. It's just like when you gave up what you did for Garrett Crochet, and then you give up Rafael Devers and get what you got, it kind of throws like everybody for a loop. But Kyle Harrison is fine. He could be a 4th starter for this team. James Tibbs was a 1st-round pick, or I think he's a 1st-round pick, or maybe compensatory. He's got the chance to be like a 4th or 3rd type of outfielder guy. You also wonder, making a move like that, maybe that gives them even more freedom long-term if they still decide to do a Duran trade, because that's not off the table. It's an okay haul for an okay trade. The problem is they traded a great hitter. They didn't just trade an okay guy, but this is stupid money.
Yeah, but you want to pay $300 million to a DH. If that's what you think he is at this point in his career.
And the Giants,
I know they did, but when they paid him, they didn't think that was going to be such an immediate thing. And clearly, look, they have a plan of what they want to do, and Rafael Devers, I guess, for myriad of reasons, doesn't enter into it.
I'll tell you what, though.
Good move for the Giants, though. The Giants are saying, hey, Ray's pitching well, Webb's pitching well. We're getting Verlander back. Birdsong's been good. Let's go make a run at this thing. And why
Adames has underperformed. They spend so much money. There's lineup protection. They've got guys.
Countrymen there, the Dominican boys getting to hang out a little bit. I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal trade for them for just pushing up. But
they're getting $300 million for a bat like Devers on this marketplace is still a pretty good deal. It's not great because you want to play that, but again, he's got to produce now for a couple years, plural, at a high level for this to work out well.
And he will, but I will tell you this trade, 100% going to come up in about a year and a half when we start talking, and we are going to be freaking out about the labor strike that is assuredly going to happen when salary caps are going to come in. This will be a nice conversation piece to come back of how the Red Sox simply did this as a money dump and in the middle of the season. So,
all right. The Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani taking them out. This will be the first time you'll ever see people in Los Angeles actually at the game in the first inning. It's going to be today, because today you can tell all your grandkids, I saw Shohei Ohtani for the first time take the mound for the Dodgers, because he's never pitched for the Dodgers yet. So he's only going to probably go an inning or 2 at the most, depending on how things go. So that'll be fun. Him and Dylan Cease tonight. That'll be must-see television, exciting times. But perhaps most exciting It's been the hot topic, baby. Spencer Strider, he's only throwing 95 miles an hour. How will he ever get a major league hitter out at 95? We've talked about Spencer Strider a lot on this program. And despite some of the concerns of the velocity, the one thing I kept coming back to, Welsh, was he's also a leg drive pitcher too. He's got some of the strongest legs in baseball. We know this. He's quadzilla. We all talk about it. He had a leg injury. Over time, as the legs were feeling better, I imagined the velocity was going to go up. And it did. It ticked up over 1.5 miles in his most recent start. If you looked at what was next for him, he had the Rockies, and then this week he's got the Marlins. If you were ever going to buy on Spencer Strider, it was last week. And if you listened to us on the show and you took the chance, you did it. And I put my money where my mouth is because I bought on him too. I dealt Alcantara on a cheap contract and Shane McClanahan on a cheap contract too in a keeper situation league. Took a shot on Spencer Strider, 13 strikeouts. I know it's the Rockies. I get it. But he was topping out at 98. He looked ridiculous. And sure, the Rockies helped him. But Welsh, this was extremely encouraging, not just for Strider, but for the Braves as well.
Yeah, I would say the thing I'm taking more in is that the velo is up more than the results were there. Like you said, this is the Rockies. If you put this line into a Rockies translator, this is like a 9 strikeout, 8 strikeout game to a normal team. So we have to compensate for what the Rockies do. But the positive, as said here, is the velo is up. And I think that's a huge thing that I'm taking. It's almost a mile per hour on the fastball. Would have liked the slider to be up a tiny bit more, but everything was up. He was absolutely dominating. 17 whiffs on his slider, 24 overall swing and whiffs, which is just absolutely absurd and ridiculous. So I think this is good. And, I'm glad you felt super confident. My stance has been, I don't know.
Super confident. I was confident.
Well, you're talking like you knew the whole time. I was like, I don't know.
That if you were going to take the risk, this was the time because the matchups coming up were so favorable between the Rockies and the Marlins that you had to say, look, if not now, never this year. And you also have to look at the time frame and say, okay, the more time he's got, you hope that the velocity is going to come back over the next couple starts anyway. So it was like the perfect storm of, if you have that gambler mentality where you want to do the ultimate buy low, Braves Twitter, God, holy crap, was Braves Twitter unmerciless about Spencer Strider in the last 3 weeks. He sucks. He's just a thrower. He's the worst. This was the guy that needs to kiss his ass. If you watched Braves Twitter in the last 3 weeks, you would have thought Spencer Strider was Aaron Heilman or something. It was crazy to see what he was getting just dragged all over the internet. Didn't deserve it. Came back early. Good for him. Good for Spencer Strider. Also good for Grant Holmes yesterday, who couldn't get a win, but he struck out I don't know how, 15 Rockies. My God, the Rockies are terrible. Thank God Elly De La Cruz is good. 3 for 5, 3 runs scored, 4 straight days of homers. We're in that Elly groove, Welsh. Is there anything better than the Elly groove? I love when Elly gets red hot. He is so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's a top player. When there's any opportunities, you jump on it. This is what I love about him.
Shane Baz, 6 2/3 scoreless innings for the Rays. The Rays beat the crap out of the Mets this weekend. So, Senga got hurt, and it's been all downhill since then for the Mets. So we'll see if they can get right this week. Eury Perez was lifted for 1 run in 4 innings. Again, not a great outing for him. The velocity was averaging 97.6. I just think it's going to take a little while for him. If you're in quality start leagues, Eury Perez is not going to help you this year. He's just not. He's going to be a 5-inning pitcher. If you're in keeper leagues, you hold and you just wait. If you're in redraft situations, you have to identify how much he can help you and how much he can't, because he had 2 very favorable first matchups. Neither of them worked out for him. It's just going to be an attrition of patience, I think, with Perez. Would you agree, Welsh?
Yep. I think Spencer Strider is a pretty prime example of that. Like, it took him a little bit to any of these guys. It's going to take them a little bit to get going. That's kind of the nature of the beast, unfortunately. His velo is like down just a tiny bit on it, but I think really more of what it is, it's about just pitch mix stuff. Like, he wasn't getting whiffs. He actually only got whiffs off of his fastball through his slider, his curveball, changeup, 0 whiffs off of that whatsoever. Also really didn't get a lot of called strikes on it. And looking here, he just didn't have much to do against right-handed. He was almost 70% throwing his fastball. And then versus lefties, he was able to change that pitch mix up a little bit. I think it's just about health and getting right. No quality starts. You're hoping he's going to still put in some solid starts in here. Post All-Star break is probably a time where maybe he unleashes a little bit. So if there's a bad one here in the, just near future, 2 or 3 starts. Maybe there's a buying opportunity for post All-Star break for Eury Perez, but I still think he's limited the rest of the year regardless.
Here's a great one from Whips. I bought Strider, traded Michael Harris, Kurtz for Strider and Herrera. Well done, Whips. Well done. You got Strider and Herrera for Kurtz and Hart. That's tremendous potentially. That's a league-winning type trade potentially. But yeah, that's crazy sauce there. Also, shout out to Angel Theory for resubbing. Again, if you haven't, resub with Prime. That way you get rid of all the nasty commercials over on Twitch. Before we move on to the rookie lookie, and of course it's Monday prospecting at the Welsh, it was also about not just Braves Twitter in the last week or so, but it was also about Red Sox Twitter, just Twitter in general, because if you take a look at some of the reactions to the Rafael Devers trade, Welsh, did you have a favorite of all the reactions that were
these were some of my favorites. We didn't talk about these with Devers. It's good that we came back here, but you had the crying Pedro Pascal meme from DraftKings. I think my favorite is from Nick there, where Greg Breslow is showing off his return, and it's SpongeBob pointing down to a handkerchief, and what looks like maybe a penny. But Jared Carabas got into it. There's the driving off of a cliff Family Guy one. The Stephen A is pretty great. These were only the tip of the iceberg on the absolutely incredible. What a time to have been on Twitter. Unfortunately, it was Father's Day, so we're all doing stuff. But what a time to have been there to experience, from Ohtani to Rafael Devers. But I like the SpongeBob one. What about you?
I'm always a fan for the Pedro Pascal one. I think that one kind of encapsulated, because if you're a Red Sox fan, this was a real kick in the nuts. You just swept the Yankees, right? And you're going, okay, we're going. Things are good. Devers hit a home run, and then he's traded a couple of hours later. And unlike a lot of trades nowadays, because the internet is what it is, things get leaked. This legitimately came out of nowhere and developed in like 20 minutes.
You know what? Well,
crazy to unfold. Just
kind of. What's interesting about that is there's a couple reporters. Someone had said they had heard some stuff a couple days before, didn't take much of it. And then Jared Carabas went on, popular Boston Red Sox fan, was invited on MLB Network with Chris Young. And he had said he heard about it that day. And then he just didn't believe it. And that's actually more of the crux of it is, yes, it kind of came out of like the blue, but like it had been floating around, but nobody believed it. Another one, here's a funny one. Jonathan Papelbon was out.
I saw that. They're not trading Devers.
Chill out, everybody. They're not going to trade Devers. And then an hour later, he says, my bad. They are trading it. Move along. Be upset. And that's kind of
then he goes, okay, now you can go freak out.
Yeah. That was kind of everybody's freak out. It's like people heard these rumors, but nobody believed a word of it, which I think is the craziest thing.
All right, let's turn our attention to the rookie lookie. Brady House is getting the call. We've talked about him before, 22-year-old infielder, 301, 349, 516 / 13 homers, 39 ribbies. He does strike out a fair amount, but he's going to get a shot here. Robert Hassel got sent down, so Brady House is available in 75% of CBS leagues. Go pick him up. Nick Kurtz had a tie-breaking home run off Estevez yesterday, so hopefully he's getting back into the swing of things. Noah Cameron struck out 7 in 5 scoreless innings. Great bounce-back start for Noah Cameron, who with the Reagan's injury now has new life in that rotation. And Kumar Rocker was good against the White Sox. 4 hits, 1 walk, and 5 innings of shutout baseball. So Kumar Rocker's not dead yet, but those aren't the only young guys worth talking about. It's time to turn our attention to the prospects for our favorite Monday segment. It's time for prospecting with the Welsh. That's right, everybody. My buddy Welsh, he's going to go out there. He's going to find you the best prospects you could possibly find in Major League Baseball and make your fantasy baseball teams much, much better. Let's start here, Welsh, with who we have first on top. Andrew Painter today. Phillies prospect, certainly one that's been lauded for quite some time. Mick Abel has been terrific filling in for Aaron Nola. So what's the deal with Andrew Painter as we look into mid-June and beyond?
Well, first, we've got to talk about Painter because we can't talk about Bubba anymore. We are on a complete just Bubba retract, so maybe that'll get him up to the majors. But I actually think Andrew Painter is at the tippy top of the best pitching prospects in baseball. The thing that had been holding him back early on, maybe even over Bubba, is that we thought Bubba was going to be up a month ago, and we thought Painter was going to be mid-season. Well, guess what? Everybody and their mother has come up before Bubba, and now it puts Bubba and Andrew Painter on a similar timeline. Painter has been up in AAA for 6 starts. 2 starts have not been good, and it was the 2 prior to this last one. He had given up 10 earned runs over 9. They had a 4 walk game in there. It wasn't good. But the These other starts, these 4 of these 5, or actually I think there were 7 in here. Yeah, so there's if I can do math here, there's 5 decent starts in here. He's given up only 5 earned runs over those other 5. This last one, 5 innings, 1 hit, 6 strikeouts. He's got a great pitching arsenal. You've got theoretically Nola being gone for the year. They're building Andrew Painter up for this. This is the type of guy that's going to be, and I am going to be shocked while also not being shocked when Andrew Painter is up before Bubba Chandler. That's what it looks like it's moving to. 8 starts in seems like a marker where we're going to get cut. That would be the next one. And what I mean by that is I think he's up at the majors anytime, like after this 8th start. That's plenty of room. They have built him up throughout the season. He almost came up like 2 years ago when he was pitching the AFL last year. He has moved through the system. He's had enough starts in AAA. And I think if he puts together one more good one to go with this fantastic start he had over the weekend, that Andrew Painter is going to be up very, very soon. And, frankly, if you give me Bubba and Painter and you say these guys are here the rest of the way, I'm going to take Andrew Painter on it. I just thought he was going to be pressed a little bit longer. So Andrew Painter is someone we got to be paying attention to.
Here's one from Riot on our Twitch as we're doing the show live today, as always, Monday through Friday. Should I drop Perez for Painter? I don't know if I would drop Eury Perez for him. I still like Eury Perez as a pitcher. I think you just got to be a little bit more patient with him on this return to really ramp up and get the feel for it again. But what do you think, Welsh?
Yeah, I don't think I would do that. I mean, we're speculating here. We're prospecting here. We're just hoping that we're going to mine some gold. We don't know for sure that he's coming up. We know Eury is there. We know Eury is still kind of getting back from that injury. I'm not ready to give up on him. If Painter were called up tomorrow, unless they told me there was like a guarantee he's going to start the rest of the season, I'm probably under no circumstance am I trying to get rid of Eury. My aggressiveness with Andrew Painter will be dependent on, when he's up, what they say around it. But he's on the level of Bubba Chandler, and they're now just so close. And when the call-ups are going to happen, that I think you can talk about them in the same breath.
The Rays had a great weekend in New York. Joe Boyle is the prospect we're going to talk about next for Tampa.
So interestingly, Boyle, by the way, doesn't even have prospect eligibility anymore. But I want to talk about him because he kind of still lives in this world. Because Ian Seymour was thrown into that relief role, and Boyle has been pretty dang good in AAA so far this year. We've even seen, and he had a little bit of a major league stint. We saw some great stuff plus numbers when he was up. I mean, his slider was like 120 plus, high stuff plus numbers. Location is a problem. He could go the way of an Ian Seymour in relief, but because they made that commitment to Seymour being a relief pitcher, I actually think Joe Boyle is going to get another opportunity. And he's put off some, just like I said, some fantastic stuff numbers, some big plus numbers, big fastball at 98. He's got that slider at 90. He's a 3-pitch pitcher with phenomenal stuff. And I'm going to probably want to stream him. And I think we're getting into the range where there's not much more use for him to be in the minors. So I think Joe Boyle we might be seeing here pretty soon.
All right, let's shift gears to Brice Matthews of the Houston Astros.
So Brice Matthews, this is a really interesting guy who's put up some pretty solid numbers from the analytical standpoint, hits the ball really hard. And we're getting to see a lot more of that data now in AAA, but he has struggled with batting average. He's got a strikeout problem. It's 28% so far in AAA. Previous years, it had been over 30. So it's coming back down a little bit, but it's still an issue. But the dude hits the ball hard, and he's got his average up to 270 right now. He's got an almost 3.45 slash. He's got a 396 OBP, which is phenomenal. 9 homers, 19 stolen bases. And in AAA, some of the data we're seeing, though he hasn't hit a ball 110, he's averaging 92 miles per hour on his exit velocity, 46% hard hit rate, which is really great. And, we've seen them kind of move through some of those infielders. They brought up like Shea Whitcomb and Jacob Melton, that I think Brice Matthews is a guy we could see pretty soon. And I do think he's going to really thrive in that ballpark. Love seeing him barreling up like he's doing, gets the ball in the air some. Brice Matthews is going to be one of those sneaky guys that we're not like cutting anything massively significant, but like if he gets the call up, let's pay attention to it in deeper leagues, because as you can see with the homers and the stolen bases, there's a little Jeremy Pena that's in Brice Matthews. So be paying attention to that. We'd probably see him playing second if he were called up.
Would Matthews also potentially be part of a deal if they're trying to acquire another bat too? Just throwing that out there. I mean, if you're looking to bring in a Luis Robert, is a guy like Matthews maybe potentially part of that deal?
100%. I think a lot of teams are going to be calling about him. They don't have a plethora of great prospects, but they have seen, Shea Whitcomb struggles with batting average. Melton's a good complete player, but I think like Brice Matthews and a pitching prospect could probably net. I don't know if it could be Luis Robert, but yeah, I think teams would be specifically asking about Matthews here.
Well, I didn't think Garrett Crochet would go for Kyle Teal either, but things happen.
True.
So let's remind ourselves that. I just look at that Houston Astros lineup, Welsh, and I just keep thinking to myself, if Alvarez doesn't come back for a while still, they need somebody else in that lineup to help out. Look, and Myers out there is a good defender, but, I think what kind of hitter he is at this point, which is some batting average and not a lot of pop. All right, one more guy, Dylan Beavers of the Baltimore Orioles. Let's talk about him.
He's had just a sneaky great season. Beavers last year only hit 242. He pushed 2 levels in 125 games. He got up to AAA, but that batting average stunk. Tons of strikeouts, 125 strikeouts and 451 at-bats. This year, though, it looks like there's maybe I don't know if there's a different approach change, because he had 15 homers last year, tons of doubles. The power has gone back down, but it has turned into batting average. He's hit only 5 homers so far. So, he's pacing out to be like, looks like maybe 11 or 12, so it'd be down a little bit, but his average is over 300, hitting 304, a 396 OBP, a 450 slug. He's stealing bases at a high clip. He's walking more. His strikeouts are down right now. I mean, he looks like he has a complete approach change. The problem with this team, obviously, is like, all of the young guys but they're going to sell off. Like, we know that they're going to sell off some of these pieces. Cedric Mullins is probably going to go. Who knows what else they're going to move. Dylan Beavers is a guy in AAA that is going to get some opportunity. And unlike a lot of these other guys that are these big power mashing Heston Kjerstad and Kobe Mayo, this is a guy that looks like he has transformed his game into getting on base at an almost 400 clip, hitting for higher batting average and stealing some bases. Dylan Beavers is massively, massively interesting, and he is in AAA, and we should probably see him at some point this year, and I'd probably chase it for OBP and stolen bases.
Speaking of chasing, real quick, because I know some people are asking in the chat, Chase Burns, when do you think we might see him for the Reds, especially now that the Reds seem to be picking up pace recently?
Yeah, I think we talked about him last week on the show. I brought him up.
And I don't know if that calculation's changed after you see the Reds starting to push a little bit this weekend, starting to play better baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that the timeline for that really activates post All-Star game. Could be wrong. They have him on the Rhett Lauder program, and Lauder got some work in that, first year after being drafted. I think you want 5 starts in AAA to look really good. So what is he at 1 or 2 right now? So I think post All-Star game would make a lot of sense for the second half of the season. They just got to determine, are they going to minimize innings? But you're right, they're competitive. And he looks like one of the best pitchers in their organization, not the minor leagues, the entire organization. Mm-hmm. He is coming up this year. We will see him. I just don't know the level of impact. But as we get closer to July, I might start speculating even more. We did the video to tell everybody, like, hey, depending how much you like to speculate, put him on the list. We get to July, he's going to be at the very tippy top of that list. Probably still with Bubba Chandler.
That's Prospecting with the Welsh. Make sure you follow us here on Fantasy Pros MLB for more fantasy baseball news, and go to FantasyPros.com as well to see more of Welsh's work with the prospects. All right, let's turn our attention to the fun facts. I got a couple for you here. Mitch Keller, another good game, another no decision for him. 6 innings of work. He's 1-9 on the year, but has 11 quality starts, Welsh. 1-9 with 11 quality starts. That's just crazy to me. I think the Tigers should go after him. I think the Yankees. I think the Twins, considering their rotation's falling apart at the seams lately. I think there's a lot of teams that should, maybe even the Padres, considering Michael King's health. I think a lot of teams should be looking at Mitch Keller. And Aaron Savali got his first outing as a White Sox. It was a loss, but he gave up 2 runs, 6 hits, and 5 innings. So hopefully he can parlay that into another home, and he won't be a White Sox for too long.
Well, the rumor already said they're already planning they're going to trade him at the trade deadline. Like, we know that.
We'll show you. We'll trade you to the White Sox. You want out. 3 up, 3 down. Fernando Tatis 4 for 5 with a pair of doubles, 3 runs scored, and a steal. Nick Pivetta was terrific against the Diamondbacks, 9 strikeouts in 7 innings. And Bello blanked the Yankees for 7 innings, striking out 8 guys, in a big win for the Red Sox, and then a big trade right after. The downs, our boy Merrill, wasn't his best outing. 4 runs, 7 hits for him. Jhoan Duran, second blown save of the year, but we'll give him a pass because he's been pretty darn good. And then Griffin Canning, 6 runs, 4 1/3 innings. McGill was bad the day before too. Just not a good weekend for the Mets pitching. So all of a sudden, I don't know. It's a bad couple games. But what's so interesting, Welsh, as you look ahead here, we talked about it a little bit. The Braves are in a really interesting spot. Holmes looked great. Strider looked great. You've reorganized the rotation. So Chris Sale was pitching, I believe, against the Mets now. So you're going to have a home and home with the Mets. You play the Phillies if you're the Braves. You play the Marlins this month. Then after that, you play, check this out. You have the Angels they play the Athletics, they play the Baltimore Orioles, and I believe the Cardinals before the break. There's a chance, it's plus 245 for the Braves to make the playoffs. There's a chance, if this is it, right? This is your moment here if you're the Braves. Acuna was terrific this weekend, got me another homer, by the way. This is the run for the Braves. If it's in them, great. If it's not, it'll be over by the All-Star break for them, one way or another. But I'm not going to count the Braves out yet. Not with Schwarber, Sale, and Strider potentially being Strider again, and Holmes pitching so well. Let's get to the injuries. Actually, good news for a change on the injuries for a change. Never get this. Logan Gilbert's going to be activated today. He's back. Giancarlo Stanton is going to be back on Tuesday. Shohei Ohtani threw 4 innings on Saturday. Hopefully he comes back this week.
I was at that game. I got some good video. We didn't become best friends or anything, but I was. It was 108 degrees there. It was ridiculous.
It's 60 degrees here. It is 108.
It was so hot. It was ridiculous, but I can't report back. He looked great. It was against complex level guys. Pitch mix was awesome. He was so efficient that when he left, he had to go throw in the Reds bullpen for another 20 pitches because he was supposed to go like 3 innings, 55. He went 4 innings, and I think it was like 35 pitches, and he moved over to the bullpen. But you can go to my Twitter or Instagram. I got some different pictures and videos from that show. But also, shout out to him for pitching in that absolutely ridiculous weather. It was crazy.
Bad news, Roki Sasaki has stopped throwing. That's not good. So hopefully, the Dodgers have the most starting pitchers in Major League Baseball to start a game this year. Who knows? Maybe they'll put a record on there. Will Vest is going to undergo further evaluation. He had a pinky finger issue. So he came out of the game yesterday. Jackson Merrill, who's had a really disappointing season. Injuries, just a bummer. He has not returned value, mostly because of injuries. 7-day concussion list, so we'll keep an eye on him. Mark Vientos is going to begin a rehab assignment this week. Tanner Houck also rehabbing on Wednesday. Kyle Freeland hit the IL. So did Tyler Mahle. I saw somebody ask in the chat, are the Rangers going to look for more pitching help? I don't know. Honestly, I know they're kind of hanging in there. I think they're just going to hang in. The American League is not good, but he's got right shoulder soreness. That's not a good thing for Tyler Mahle or for the Rangers, Welsh.
I think all of these teams, this question that everybody asks, like, will this? It's just about the teams that are going to be sellers, and nobody is committing to selling. I mean, I don't even think you can say that the Red Sox were sellers in there, and some people are kind of treating it like that. No team is making that commitment. So I think all of these teams, I think the Rangers, I think every single one of these teams are going to listen, but they need teams like the Diamondbacks to give up and be selling Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen.
Suarez is the guy to give up for them because you can put Lawler at third base. So I'll tell you what, Milwaukee Brewers should be all over Suarez, in my opinion. He's the perfect fit for them. Get another bopper in that lineup, play third base. They got a hole at third base right now. He'd be a huge improvement over what they have. You could put Lawler right at third base and start playing for next year and looking at that. And I don't know about you.
But they don't want to do it because I think there's still like a game or something over 500. But that's what we're talking about here. There's so much potential still in the market that no one is trading. So as much as we want to sit here and be like, is this team going to be? This is not the time to ask. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until right around the All-Star break when it's like, there's only 2 weeks left until the All-Star game, and this is the separation that teams have. It is too early for teams to do it now, which kind of stinks for us.
Emmett Sheehan's going to make his next start with the Dodgers, apparently, so we'll see how that goes. Kasparius or Sheehan, who would you rather have in the next few weeks?
I'd
rather have Kasparius.
I kind of want to have Ben, but I just don't know, like, the commitment to him being in the into the rotation long term. But everybody's hurt. I don't know. I kind of look at it. Well, you know what? Like, Dustin May hasn't been good. Like, if Kasparius pitches better than Dustin May over the next 2 weeks, I could see them saying, Dustin May, you get out. You know what I don't hate? I would love to see, like, and it's not that way, but I would love to see, like, Ohtani be the opener to Kasparius. That would be amazing. Like, let Ohtani set him up and then let him go 4 or 5.
Set up to go against the Padres this week, I think on Wednesday, if memory serves.
Kasparius?
Yeah. So he's not supposed to be the back end guy today. So I guess
I'm just saying I would love if that were to be.
What is the plan after Ohtani today? Just bullpen? Did they have did they name a guy after? Is it Landon Knack Day? Or
I did not pay attention. It's a great question.
It is a good question. Brandon Woodruff. Brandon Woodruff. Oh, Brandon Woodruff. Slated to throw another bullpen session. You like bullpens, don't you, Brandon? That's what we hear. Probably going to get stretched out to about 80 pitches, I don't know, over the next 2 to 3 years, and probably make another half a dozen rehab starts. Maybe we'll see you after the All-Star break. Maybe, but I doubt it. Anyway, the Twins, stop me if you heard this one before. Welsh put Royce Lewis on the IL. I mean, it goes from comic to tragic at this point. I just don't know what to say anymore. It's not even like we can like, haha, Royce was on the IL. It's just absurd at this point.
It is sad. He is a wildly talented player who is in the Giancarlo school of DeGroms. They're just always hurt. You don't know what to do.
Yeah. Here's a question here from it just jumped here. J-Pack rather. Welsh and Joe, who's the best SP in the Mets system? Sparrat, McLean, or Tong? Long-term keeper. Tong right now is pitching the best of any of those guys, I think.
Yeah. God, the preseason, it would have been Sparrat. I don't know. I really like McLean, but Tong looks sick right now. Just the overhand. I mentioned this before, but like the success rate of like high overhand pitchers is something people were taking a look at, that maybe that could hurt Tong. He's a big high overhand guy. McLean was a two-way player with a nasty slider. I don't know. I guess I want to lean to say McLean, but they're all pretty close. They're all pretty much right there.
I'll tell you, the Twins, man, between Pablo Lopez, Royce Lewis, Buxton's day-to-day, Correa's always a injury waiting to happen. Zebby Matthews hurt. Maybe they could use some Kaiser-Trex. That's right. Maybe signs of fatigue, low performance, could be low testosterone, a condition affecting about 30% of adult men and most of the Minnesota Twins right now. Kaiser-Trex is an FDA-approved testosterone replacement therapy designed for men like you. It's not an injection. It's not a gel. It's a twice-daily pill. That's what it is. That fits seamlessly into your very active lifestyle of playing pickleball and sitting out in a bathtub in the outdoors. Help restore your testosterone to optimal levels and know your T-score and get tested today by visiting KaiserTrex.com/testing kit. That's KYZATREX.com/testing kit by prescription only. Kaiser-Trex is a controlled substance, Welsh, and it can be a target of abuse. Welsh tried to abuse the Kaiser-Trex, and I called him out on it. I said, stop it. Kaiser-Trex is not for use of pregnant women or men with prostate or breast cancer. Safety and efficacy, those younger than 18, is not known. We just don't know. So tell your doctor if you have any medical conditions or medications you're on. Serious side effects could include increased blood pressure, worsening prostate symptoms, increased risk of prostate cancer, blood clots, legs in the lungs, decreased sperm count, liver problems, enlarged or painful breasts, breathing problems while you sleep. Common side effects include swelling of the ankles, feet, or body, increased red blood cell count, increased PSA, prostate, I don't know what that is, prostate-specific antigen levels. There, I fixed it. PSA is a test used to detect prostate cancer. Report these symptoms immediately to your doctor. Call your doctor today to learn more about Kaiser-Trex, and don't abuse the Kaiser-Trex. If you have any more questions or you need more information, visit KaiserTrex.com or call 1-833-949-5040 today. Let's get to what's next here. Oh, is it time already? It's time, Welsh. It's time for the best bets
of the day.
Here we go.
Chris Russo-y on that whole read.
Hey, everybody, it's Chris Russo. Here's the best bets of the day, everybody. We're going to get into it. Here we go. And the best bet for this Monday, Rafael Devers got traded to my Giants. I can't believe it. What a steal. But he's going to be a DH forever now. You better put a weight cloth in that contract. I can tell you that right now, Welsh. I'm going to go with the New York Yankees on the run line. Clark Schmidt on the hill, -102 is what we got today against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I think the Yankees can get back on track. They've lost 3 in a row. I think they stopped the bleeding today. Logan Gilbert makes his return against the Boston Red Sox. I know there's a lot of Ks potentially in that lineup, but 6.5 is too big of a number for my taste today, so I'm going to go under on that first start back for Logan Gilbert. Just give him a little bit of time to get his sea legs under him. And Randy Arozarena has 3 steals in his last 6 games, and Giolito's on the mound for the Red Sox today. So I think Randy Arozarena might get on base, and if he does, I like him to get a stolen base at +490. That's a huge number. Welsh, where are you going for your best bets today?
Shohei Ohtani is the talk of the town, at least for today. Him and Devers. It'd be great if they were playing each other. I find it hard to believe in how quick this transpired with Shohei Ohtani that he is going to go more than an inning. Like, I feel like this could be a true opener situation. This is going to bust if they let him go 2. But I would imagine because he's just been throwing live sessions, you let him go 1 game or 1 inning into this. So if you get 1 inning, his strikeout number is 1.5. Give me the under on that at -130. Padres are a tough team to strike out. Arise near the top. Tatis. If it's 1 inning, that's my hope here, and that's what I'm banking on. So I'm going to go under on the Ohtani strikeouts in his first outing out. I'm going to go over on the strikeouts with Mick Abel going up against the Marlins at 4.5. Mick has kind of shown both sides of big strikeout games, and then he's obviously just been efficient without, but I think Mick is going to get those strikeouts today. So over 4.5, I like that. And I'm going to go over runs on the Angels and the Yankees. You have the run line. I say just give me over on all the runs. 8.5 over at -105. That is my gameplay with some strikeout props.
All right. Make sure you go to fantasypros.com/leading off. That's the place where you bet $5 on FanDuel, win $250 in bonus bets. And of course, download the Betting Pros app. Bet smarter, not harder. Use the promo code leading off there, and you'll get 7 days of the free trial of the premium tools at Betting Pros. Let's look at the home run board. Did I crack it over the weekend? No, because the new threshold is 21 and I've got 20. Oh, Welsh, so close. So maybe it's today. Wonky still on there at 22. George at 31. Got a 3 home run lead on Far Out and Whipsy. Marty at 26 along with Athena as well. So shout out to George. Just going strong here. I don't know. Maybe somebody had Elly De La Cruz for the last 4 days in a row. Sammy Sosa jersey from pristineauction.com. That's up for grabs, autographed. Again, go to our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat. That's where you can go and be a part of the home run contest. I'm going to be boring and everyone's going to hate me today because I'm picking Aaron Judge at +330 in the itty bitty ballpark known as Yankee Stadium. That's right. We're going against the Angels tonight. Welsh, where are you going for your home run call?
Did you call alternator Athena, by the way?
Oh, did I? I thought it was Athena. I read it wrong.
Just put that back up just for 1 second. We'll get at it.
I read it really fast. The thing is small. I need bigger screens.
Alternator.
That's
Athena.
Athena.
Okay. Just making sure.
Sorry, alternator.
I'm going to go kind of boring, I guess, too. I'm going to go Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber Fest. Why is Schwarber Fest not locked in? We need our Schwarber Fest. So I'm going to get my Schwarber Fest today. I'll never be back on this home run board. Joe will pass me, and he'll let everybody know about it. But Kyle Schwarber is my only hope. So save me, Kyle Schwarber. You are my only hope.
See, if we both went Judge tonight, if you came with me.
I thought about going Judge tonight.
We could both. I'll give you one chance. You want to come with me? We can both get on the board for one night. No,
he will hit a homer tonight too. Jose Soriano's got a home run issue, but nope. I'm gonna differ.
All right.
Me and Athena.
Extended my hand. Schwarber. You slapped it away.
Mm-hmm.
I see how it is. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Look, join us tomorrow. Who knows what's going to happen in Major League Baseball? We'll have the recap of the Ohtani, a couple pitches that he throws, which will just be exciting and fun. And who knows what's going to happen next? Major League Baseball has been a riot this year, and it's going to continue right here on Fantasy Pros MLB. Subscribe to the channel. Drop your comments below. You might win yourself a Cecil Fielder jersey when you do. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Peace.
Ohtani Day. You see, everybody hates the Ohtani rule. Our producer hates the Ohtani rule. Why does he get to pitch in DH? Because he's Ohtani, right, Welsh?
I hope the Giants have Devers pitch. Like the Devers rule.
Nope. I refuse. He should now refuse to do anything.
He should say
but
yes
DH.
to that.